Well, if nobody follows along, you're just killing people.
Right.
Like clearly they are. I mean,
Right.
you literally have communities that are miles away from each other going to war with each other. The premise of a marshal doesn't make any sense.
Right. Now, I did read some brief thing because I didn't want to know spoilers, but there was somebody that had watched the whole season and basically said you have to give it a couple of episodes to finally get going.
Oh, it's the Disney philosophy now.
Yeah, pretty much.
You need to get 4 episodes into the 7-episode series before it gets interesting.
Right. So we'll see. We'll probably watch it just to.
What I think what annoyed me was there was always this curiosity of what could possibly bring Negan and Maggie together
Right.
to go on this adventure to New York City.
Right, because you
and we
knew-
called it months ago what it was, and the fact that we were so spot on for it was
Right.
just so disappointing.
Right, but still, we don't know why Negan was where he is. They still haven't really, like he kind of hinted, but nothing else. Like no more information
Right.
about what happened.
But that's not what interests me. How he got there.
Mm-hmm.
He got there probably because he got kicked out of 12 other communities because of
True.
who he is.
Yeah, well.
I would expect nothing less. But the fact that you have Maggie, and the only reason that Maggie went to find Negan was because the guy who runs this new gang in New York happened to be one of his followers.
right.
That is such a weak driver, motivational driver for putting aside the fact that this man bashed your husband's brains out in front of you.
Right.
It makes no sense from a logical standpoint.
Yeah.
You could have literally taken anybody else and been just as effective. So my hopes aren't particularly high for this one, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
What's the next big disappointment?
Well, no, it wasn't a disappointment.
That it's over, I mean.
Oh, okay. Would be Star Trek Picard. That happened to be a favorite of ours. It aired for 3 seasons and wrapped up. So the series actually begins in 2399, which is 20 years after Jean-Luc Picard's last appearance in Star Trek Nemesis. And finds that the character is deeply affected by the death of Data in that film, as well as the destruction of the planet Romulus in the film Star Trek. He is retired from Starfleet and is living on his family's vineyard. Picard is drawn into a new adventure when he is, let me move my mouse, visited by a synthetic daughter of Data, one of the several new synthetic beings that seem to be coming out now in that time period. So Picard fights for their right to exist and gives his life to save them. After his consciousness is transferred into a synthetic body for the second season,
Conveniently.
we move to 2401, and now Picard and his companions are living new lives when an old adversary, Q, traps them in an alternate reality, and they must travel back to time to the 21st century to save the future of the galaxy. And then finally, the third season, Picard learns that he has a son who is being hunted by a mysterious enemy, and then he reunites with the former crew of the USS Enterprise to protect his son and face the new invasion of the Borg.
Yep.
Yep, that's what happened.
That's pretty much
That's
it.
pretty much what happened.
No spoilers or anything though, but he has another son. It's not a clone from Nemesis that the Romulans made. And he helped the synths to define the fact that they could exist, kind of like he did with Data when the only thing with the series was they kind of recycled a lot of themes that they had previously.
Right.
There wasn't fresh themes there, but the way that they did it, it was a throw to the fans.
Well, definitely season 3 was definitely a throwback and a love letter to the fans because they knew it was ending. They knew they weren't doing a 4th season, so they knew they kind of had to tie up all of the loose ends. So
Right.
you had where, season 2 and season 1, you had a couple of cameos by a couple of different things. By season 3, it was basically everybody and all these different cameos and people that you weren't even expecting to show up. That, we would watch and be like, oh my God, is that? And it was. And, so that was kind of neat to have that happen. And then
It was the only problem is there was some of the situations in which these people showed up were completely unbelievable. It's like these people don't have a life. Like they all just sit around waiting for Picard to call them and come do something.
okay, yeah, they're all retired for the most part.
I love
Sure,
the
why
fact.
not?
I love the fact that they had Geordi running the ship museum, and he just conveniently put together the Enterprise that was destroyed in Star Trek Generations. Just conveniently happened to have that in his back pocket, just right when they needed
Because
him.
you never know when you're going to need a ship.
Yeah, it was.
Suspend reality.
I felt like so much of this third season was forced down my throat. I ate it up.
You sure did.
Because I'm a Star Trek fan.
Yep.
I just felt force fed so much of this and was just told to believe it. Yeah, that was really my take on it.
But who was your favorite character in the whole season?
My favorite character?
In the third season?
I don't know. Who was my favorite character?
Who wasn't from the original?
Who wasn't from the original? I don't know. I don't think I really had a favorite.
Wasn't the captain?
Oh, yes, the captain of the what was the ship? Oh, yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, we're not going to mention that.
No.
But the captain of the other ship was my favorite just because he was so dry and sarcastic.
Yes.
And he was a prick, and he admits that he's a prick, which, just kind of endears you. And unfortunately, he doesn't make it out of everything as squeaky clean as everyone else does. But yeah, he was definitely the highlight.
He
of
definitely
the series.
added to the highlight of your watching.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Picard seasons 1 through 3 now available on Paramount Plus. We're going to take a quick break, come back. We're running a little bit late here for the good, the bad, and the ugly segment. We'll be right back. I don't have the music queued up, unfortunately, but we'll be right back. So the good, we mentioned it earlier during our trip to Niagara.
Right.
Down up to Niagara Falls. The one gem that we found in what was really a sad, rundown resort town that is on bad luck, really, was a restaurant that we found on the other side of town from the resort we stayed in called The Bakery.
Yes.
The bakery itself, and I did a review. You can find my review up on Google if you look it up on Google Maps. We have pictures and everything there. The bakery was the most unique eatery experience that I think we've had in a long time. It was genuine. It was authentic. You walked in there and you felt like you were in your mom's house from the 1950s and 60s.
Yes.
It was decorated beautifully, and the staff was attentive. When you had gotten up at one point in time to take some pictures because of how unique the place was, the chef came over.
Right.
And said, "Oh, well, if you're interested in learning more about it," and he took you on a tour of the place,
he
and
gave me a little
showed you
walk
the
through
place.
what was interesting. So it was originally a bakery, and the baker's house were next to each other. So that's what became this building. And he took me, to the hallway where the restrooms were, and you could see through the architecture, oh, this is where the house was, this is where the bakery was, and they kind of built the two buildings together, and you could see where the front porch had been, where they had built an enclosure, and then the one area had been a dance hall, had been a speakeasy at one point in time. There was a back entrance that you would come in to go in to dance and drink and stuff. So just got all these historic things from it. There was even a picture of the original house, and a picture of the original family was there too. So if you didn't know that it was there, you might not have even known the history of it.
Yeah.
So
it was such a genuine experience, and it was so enjoyable. Chef Joseph was so attentive. you had gone off to the restaurant at one point in time, and he was talking to Maddie and I, and he was saying, I don't live in town here. I commute in from Buffalo, and he was giving us,
suggestions
things to do
of other things. Yeah.
It was just so. It really made kind of a lukewarm trip really special to do that, and it was before we went to the Strong, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
So that was the other highlight of the trip itself, was the bakery in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Now for the ugly. So we had talked about this a lot. We had talked about the anticipation of it coming. We had talked about the accommodations and the experience. And we talked about the price. And we said, I'll be shocked. And I have to go back and probably get my quote. I'll be shocked if this lasts 18 months. And of course, we're talking about Disney's Galactic Star Cruiser, which is set for its final voyage in September. Hasn't been open 2 full years now?
Yeah, it's been 18 months, I believe.
18 months. And they're closing. Because they can't convince enough stupid people to pay the kind of money that they want you to pay. And really, it was ridiculous that they were charging the equivalent of a 7-day cruise for 2 nights.
Right.
To basically stay in a prison cell.
Right.
And that's what people who've stayed there described it as. No windows. You're sleeping in bunk beds, like prison-style bunk beds. Your day is regimented. You have to do certain things because of the way that they have their interaction.
Right.
And people just didn't find it enjoyable.
Right. And if you weren't the type of person that enjoyed role-playing or LARPing or anything to that, this wasn't for you, because you're not going to get anything out of it. Now, people that were into that and liked dressing up and liked being interactive, they enjoyed the trip because it was immersive that way. But if you weren't that type of person, you were probably bored out of your mind because there wasn't anything else to do. Or you kind of felt weird hanging around other people that were doing these adventures and things like that. So
I just want to take a moment to tell Disney, I told you so. I took great pleasure in hearing about this, because there was as much as I would have loved to go and experience it, there was no way in hell that I was going to give Disney that kind of money for any kind of experience. I don't care. I'm not giving Disney that much money for something like that for 2 days.
Right. Now, if it was a week's vacation with, on an actual cruise ship, yes, I will give you that kind of money.
Right.
For me to actually go someplace and see something and do. But yeah, that was the thing. We were very excited when they were first announcing it, and we said, okay, let's see what it comes out to be, how much it's going to be, how much, okay, where's our price point, what we're willing to spend. And then when the prices came out, it was just,
and then Disney slapped millions of people in the face with the fictitious price that they gave you. And it was just embarrassing.
Right.
I was embarrassed for Disney that they were asking people for that kind of money.
Yeah.
Second ugly thing, and this is one that's near and dear.
Well, this is really the bad. This is probably more than ugly.
Oh, right. This is the bad. Sorry. I went out of order.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Okay. You can fix it in post.
Yeah, I'll fix it in post. I keep saying that. Anyway, we were robbed. Somebody stole money from us. And the people that stole money from us were the Philly Pops and the Kimmel Center, because we had bought tickets for a Star Wars concert event. And it was canceled at one point in time, allegedly.
It was supposed to be last summer.
Right.
And then due to whatever reasons, they had to postpone it until June of this year. So they said, hold on to your tickets.
They didn't offer any refunds.
Right. You could
year.
Transfer your ticket to something else, but just hold on to your tickets. Everything will be fine. We'll see you June 2023.
Right. And then what happened?
Oh, it's postponed again. but we don't know when now or where it'll actually even be.
They were very communicative, the Philly Pops were, in telling us about this legal battle that they had with the Kimmel Center. And it was a terrible thing, and they kicked them out, and they're not giving them any concert hall time, and blah, blah, blah. And